Why is it so hard to record these things? It's quite funny. I just end up hating the sound of my own voice. Hello and welcome to the Red-Headed Boy podcast. Scratch that. Let's try that again. Hello everybody and welcome to the Red-Head Boy podcast. There you go. We got there. So, you guys may be asking why I've decided to do a podcast, and my answer to that question is, why not? I thought, since I've been doing hospital radio, and I've really been enjoying that with Rob on a Monday, going in and talking about films and having a good old chinwag. I've really enjoyed that, so I thought the next step was for me to do my own podcast. So here it is. So my aim for this is just to be a relaxed, conversational show, really. Me talking about anything that's on my mind. Of course, people that know me will know that film will be a large part of the show. Obviously, me being a beloved film fan and aspiring filmmaker, so films will definitely be on the agenda. I'm thinking of maybe discussing the latest films out in the cinemas and on demand. Also, maybe occasionally discussing my own film work. I've got some exciting projects that I'm working on at the moment, and I'm just going to play it. I'm just going to roll with the punches and just see what happens. Hopefully, if this show becomes popular and I enjoy doing it, I'm going to try and rope some people in, get some guests in to talk about whatever they want to talk about, whatever we want to talk about, whatever they want to natter about, if that's creativity, their life, what drives them. So yes, most welcome to my podcast, the Red-Head Boy podcast. I got the name right. So most welcome, and let's start the episode. I feel like I need to do vocal exercises like Anchorman, be like caw caw. Hello and welcome to the very first episode of my podcast with me, Harry Allen. This is the Red-Head Boy podcast. I'm getting better at saying the name. I did not screw that up. I'm really pleased with myself. So today I'm going to be talking about a range of things. I'm going to start off with the news and how this dreaded coronavirus is affecting the creative industries. So film, television, music. I'm just going to have a look at what's going on and seeing what this dreaded virus is doing. Then I'm going to move on to a couple of reviews, starting off with my latest review coming out of the cinema. I braved the cinema yesterday to go and see Misbehaviour starring Keira Knightley, and then I'm going to do a video on demand review of The Aeronauts starring Eddie Redmayne and Felicity Jones, and then we're just going to see what's going to happen. We're going to be wild and throw our hat in the air and see where it lands. So welcome to the very first episode. Let's do this. So, as you heard from that lovely intro, we're going to start off with the news. So, coronavirus has been affecting the creative industries, film and television, and events alike across the world, really. The big one last week was sadly that Tom Hanks and his wife confirmed that they had coronavirus. They are in quarantine in Australia. I send them my love, and I hope they recover quickly. I'm a big, huge fan of Tom Hanks. He's like an American national treasure, one of my favourite actors. Let's have a look what else. Sadly, Idris Elba confirmed that he tested positive for coronavirus. We send love to him about that, and I hope he gets well soon. Also, a load of films have been pushed back, including James Bond. Super bummed about that. Super excited about Daniel Craig's last outing as James Bond. The film has been pushed back to November. Originally it was meant to come out next month in April. Other films include that have been pushed back. Fast and Furious has been pushed back for an entire year, so we've got to wait a little bit longer until we see a car racing in space, I think. I think that's the only way that franchise can move forward, is them, they start driving cars in space, super realistic. So that's been pushed back a year, and the latest one that's been pushed back is Marvel's first film of the year, which is the Black Widow spin-off movie, of course starring Scarlett Johansson, the very much awaited solo film of her character from the MCU. So that's been pushed back. I don't know what date that's been pushed back to be honest. Also, other things. Unfortunately, Glastonbury has been cancelled due to fears of coronavirus. I know everybody will be super bummed about that. All the people that have forked out money for tickets. I don't know if everybody's getting their money back for that, or they automatically get put on for 2021's Glastonbury instead. I'm sure that's the way it works. How that's going to work, I mean. So it's all a bit rubbish. But on the positive, when there's always crap going on, there's always people there to make our days better. So loads of artists have been doing like Corona concerts from their own house, singing, including John Legend, Nicole Kidman's husband, can't remember his name, he's been doing some singing. And also we've had some well wishes from famous people just telling us to hang in there, really. I know it feels a bit bleak at the moment, and a lot of people haven't seen something like this before. Of course I haven't. So let's hang in there, everyone. So that's the news in terms of how the coronavirus is affecting the industry. And now I thought I'd play you a little bit of the well wishes, messages from the likes of Judi Dench, Arnold Schwarzenegger, and Matthew McConaughey.
Buddy McConaughey here. Just want to say, in these crazy times that we're in with the coronavirus, let's take care of ourselves and each other. Let's not go to the lowest common denominator and get paranoid. Let's do our due diligence, take the precautions we need to take care of ourselves and those of us around us. Right now, more than ever before, we're all more dependent on each other than we ever have been. But we have an enemy in the coronavirus that is faceless, that is raceless, sexless, non-denominational, and bipartisan. And it's an enemy that we all agree we want to beat. We want to beat, and we're going to beat him. All right? So in this time when people are going to move on, the economy is going to be in shambles for who knows how long, there is a green light on the other side of this red light that we're in right now. And I believe that green light is going to be built upon the values that we can enact right now. Values of fairness, kindness, accountability, resilience, respect, courage. If we practice those things right now, when we get out of this virus this time might be the one time that brings us all together and unifies us like we have not been in a long time. So, yes, let's see if we can make some lemonade out of this lemon that we're in the middle of. Turn a red light into a green light. Just keep living.
Oh, there you are. Just keep laughing. That's all we can do.
Here I am at home, taking a jacuzzi, smoking a little stogie. I just finished a bike ride and a little bit of workout, and I just, keep staying at home, away from the crowds and away from outside. The reason why I'm saying that is because I still see photographs and videos of people sitting in outside cafes all over the world and having a good time and hanging out in crowds. That is not wise, because that's how you can get the virus. That's how you get it, like contact with other people. So stay away from crowds, stay away from being in restaurants and outdoor cafes, especially now in springtime where all the kids are going to the beach and celebrate and drink and all that stuff. This is not a good idea. So stay away from the crowds, go home, and then they can overcome this whole problem, this whole virus in no time. But you got to go and follow those orders. Just remember, stay at home, don't go to crowds. Put that cookie down.
That was a couple of clips from some lovely famous people, including Matthew McConaughey, the lovely Judi Dench, and Arnold Schwarzenegger. Thank you very much for that, and hopefully we'll be alright. And we've got there. It's review time, and I just want to apologise for the crappy Matthew McConaughey joke. I just couldn't help myself. Obviously, we all know him from that famous line, so I just couldn't help myself. I know it's sad that I'm laughing at my own jokes, but you might as well laugh. It's either you laugh or you cry, so Anyway, so my review today is of the film Misbehaviour, starring Keira Knightley and Jessie Buckley, and a range of very super talented women. Directed by, let's see if I can not butcher her name, Philippa Lowthorpe. Philippa Lowthorpe. I apologise if I butchered your name. My dyslexic brain. Sorry about that. So the film is about a group of women that hatch a plan to disrupt the 1917 Miss World competition in London. So the day that I went to see this was, what day did I go see? Let me check my diary on Letterboxd. Let's have a look. I went to see this on the 17th, which was Tuesday. I was sitting about, a bit bored, so I decided to go to the cinema. Now, let me tell you, it felt kind of weird going in, because obviously everyone is sort of being safe and keeping themselves in and just going to work and then going back home. They're not really doing much. And I went to the screening around the 12:20 screening, and I walked into the cinema, the Dome Cinema in Worthing. Obviously, other cinemas are available, Maybe not at the moment, actually. All jokes aside. But I walked into the Dome Cinema, and for those who have been to the Dome Cinema, they know that it's a beautiful looking cinema inside. It's like kept its original features with the carpet and the dark wood. And as I walked into the lobby of the cinema, it felt like I was in, The Shining. There was nobody around at all. It felt so super weird that there was nobody around. It felt horror film-esque. The only people that were around were obviously the people that were serving, and my screening was pretty much a private screening. There was only me and this couple. I made a joke as I walked in saying it was going to be a very intimate screening, and the elderly gentleman made a joke saying, I hope you're not going to make any noise, which I found very funny. So I sat down to watch Misbehaviour. Overall, my thoughts is that I thoroughly enjoyed it. I didn't expect to enjoy it as much as I did. The film pretty much is what it says on the tin of what the synopsis that I just read you says. I've always been a huge fan of period pieces, especially period pieces set in the 60s, 70s, because I feel like it's such an interesting period. There was so much stuff going on around that time. Obviously, this film is partly centered around the rise of the women liberation movement. One of the storylines focuses on the film for that. Keira Knightley and Jessie Buckley storyline focus on. There's also this other storyline that focuses on the actual contestants taking part in the 1970 Miss World, and it centres around Miss Grenada. So it shows both sides of the story, which I think was an interesting way of structuring the film. It made it more interesting rather than focusing on one side of the argument. But for me, the standout was the women's activists side. So Keira Knightley plays this very posh, slightly uptight, wanting to, become a part of the establishment that is obviously back then mainly driven by women. Take that back. Mainly driven by men. I'm sorry. So she wants a seat at the table, and then she comes across, or she bumps into, Jessie Buckley's character, called Joe. Keira Knightley's character is called Sally, and Jo is sort of like this wild woman that is trying to send out the message that they do not believe in the Miss World competition. The standout for me was Keira Knightley and Jessie Buckley's chemistry, and how the story goes through how they met and how they end up, despite their different backgrounds, come together to disrupt this competition. I'm thoroughly becoming a fan of Jessie Buckley. I super loved her in what was it called? I enjoyed her in a film that came out last year called Wild Rose, which she was brilliant in. I would definitely recommend you guys checking it out. She plays a Scottish country and western singer wanting to become, the next Dolly Parton. And I'd thoroughly recommend. Also, she sings in the film, and she sings beautifully. So overall, that's my standout of the film, was just mainly the characters and the chemistry between Keira Knightley and Jessie Buckley. So if you guys feel like braving the cinema, obviously don't brave it if you're vulnerable or elderly or not particularly very well person at the moment. Or maybe when it comes out on video on demand or DVD, I would check it out. It's a nice, charming film. It felt very British. I like films like that feel British. And yeah. Where's the button? Button. Who's got the button? So, I think I'm going to call that the end of the show today. Thank you for everyone that has listened, and I hope you enjoyed it. Hope it wasn't too boring. Hope my tone of voice wasn't too boring sounding. I know it can be. It's just so hard to listen to your own voice. Still not used to that, even after doing radio. So thank you for listening to this very first episode of my podcast, the Red-Headed Boy Podcast. Still got the name wrong. The Redhead Boy Podcast. Got there. I will get that. I will get it. I promise. So let me know what you think on my social media accounts, Harry E. Allen, or my Twitter, which is what is my Twitter? My Twitter is Harry_Allen94. So drop me a tweet if you like it or whatever. Let me know what you think. And hopefully I'll drop another episode soon. So you guys take care. That's the main thing I'm going to say at the end. You guys take care. And try not to buy too much toilet roll. Okay, take care. Bye.